Have you ever looked at your paycheck and wondered, why does rent take up so much of my income? If it feels like you're working just to pay your landlord, you're not alone. Right now, the average U.S. renter earns $54,700 per year. But to afford a medium-priced apartment at $1,653 per month, they should be making at least $66,900 per year. That's a $11,140 gap, 17.3% more than what renters actually earn. And here's the real issue. 61% of renters are now spending over 30% of their income on rent, pushing them into what financial experts call cost burden territory. This means rent is eating up too much of their budget, leaving less for essentials like food, healthcare, and savings. But it wasn't always like this. So how did we get here? And which cities are hit the hardest? 1. Rent has risen faster than wages, and the gap keeps growing. For decades, the general rule of thumb was that you should spend no more than 30% of your income on rent. Anything higher and you're likely sacrificing other necessities just to keep a roof over your head. But in today's market, that 30% rule feels impossible for most renters. Just look at how much rent has outpaced wages. In 2019, you needed $5,500 per year to comfortably afford rent. In 2024, that number has skyrocketed to $66,000 per year, a $12,400 jump in just 5 years. Meanwhile, actual renter incomes barely moved from $54,500 to $54,700. So rent prices keep climbing, but salaries? Not so much. Why is this happening? Housing supply hasn't caught up. Developers have built more apartments post-pandemic, but it's still not enough. High mortgage rates are forcing people to stay renters longer. Those who wanted to buy homes are now stuck in the rental market, increasing demand. Inflation has made everything more expensive, but wages haven't kept pace. For many renters, even working full-time isn't enough. They're stuck in a cycle of high rent, low savings, and little financial security. 2. Which cities have it the worst? Not all cities are affected equally. Some places have huge affordability gaps, meaning people earn far less than what they need to comfortably afford rent. New York City is the worst offender. Renters need to earn 43.5% more than they actually do just to afford an average apartment. Miami is close behind at 42.2%. Boston, Los Angeles, and Riverside, California aren't far behind, with gaps above 35%. Meanwhile, some cities have actually gotten more affordable. Austin, Phoenix, and Dallas have seen rent drop by 7.2%, 5.8%, and 4.9% respectively. But Washington, D.C. is the exception. Even though it's generally more affordable, rent there has jumped 11.1% recently. For renters in high-gap cities, this isn't just about numbers, it's about real-life choices. Many are forced to move farther away, take on multiple jobs, or go into debt just to afford rent. 3. The reality of living cost burden. If more than 30% of your paycheck goes to rent, here's what it actually means. Less money for necessities. You might be choosing between rent and groceries, skipping doctor visits, or putting off saving for the future. Longer commutes. With city rents too high, many renters move farther from work, spending hours on the road just to find an affordable place to live. More debt. Many renters use credit cards or personal loans to cover rent shortfalls, leading to long-term financial struggles. Let's break this down. A renter making $54,700 per year pays $1,653 per month in rent. That leaves about $2,000 per month for food, transportation, insurance, healthcare, and savings. But with costs rising across the board, many find themselves barely scraping by. And the biggest issue? Unlike homeowners, renters aren't building wealth. Every month, their money goes straight to their landlord, with nothing to show for it in the long run. From 2019 to 2024, rents have increased by approximately 30.4% nationwide, while wages have risen by about 20.2% during the same period. This growing disparity means that renters are dedicating a larger portion of their income to housing than ever before, leaving less room for other essential expenses and savings. So where does this leave renters? The reality is that rent prices have far outpaced income, leaving millions financially stretched. How much of your income goes to rent? Drop a comment below. We want to hear your story. And if you found this useful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights on housing and financial trends.